Hmm. Hmm. Hello, testing, testing. Nothing. Okay. Oh, I know. Why is the window? All right, well that works. But this. Oh, why was that muted? Did I push the button? Okay.
Pop it. What Eddie had to say here, and he's giving credit to Thor for the lift. Thank God.
Maybe you can let go of that hate and go back to World's Strongest Man and do some damage there, because that's where he belongs. So good luck to you, Thor. I'll say I'll commend you when you do the 505, and just want to wish you all the best.
That beef has gone on far too long, and now we have an
Why
undisputed
is the
deadlift world
window
record
so
holder, and
fucking
Thor
small?
is that guy. Now, something really interesting about his reaction to the lift and the importance that he placed on it tells you that he might also think that this is the actual one that sets him the world record. This didn't look like a man who celebrated him breaking his own record with the nature of how his closest people around him celebrated, jumped on him, got incredibly excited. If you break your own record, it's a little bit different. So in this, it tells me maybe it wasn't an admission that 501 wasn't a record, but it was that it was tarnished in some way, whether that's
Hmm.
outside noise, that's fans, that's Eddie, that's whatever it may be. That seems to be put to bed. And the vast majority of people are putting it to bed as well, including Eddie, and that is awesome. The conflict in the sport is totally unnecessary. Fans love it, absolutely. More conflict will come in the future. But at a certain point, the same thing over and over and over just gets old. So we can move on from Eddie Thor, we can move on from 505, and we can talk about the next best thing. But before we do, this hasn't been universally
Hmm.
accepted by everyone, and I want to give my 2 cents on it.
What?
There's been a
This
reasonable amount
wouldn't.
of noise about the lockout, that the hips were soft, the knees were soft. Some big influencers
Oh,
in the fitness community
stop.
messaged me about that as well, prying to see if this is any sort of controversial lift. And I want to formally 100% say this is a good lift. In strongman, it's not powerlifting. We don't have to have our shoulders locked back. We can hitch the bar. We got to get it from point A to point B. The standards for hips and knees are a little bit less than in powerlifting. Nonetheless, the nature of strongman is, can you move the weight from A to B successfully? Stop worrying about all of the minor details along the way. And he absolutely did that. So he gets the deadlift world record. We don't want a world record in powerlifting with powerlifting rules to be the all-time strongest person who's lifted the most weight off the floor, because then you have to put caveats on it. In what stance did they lift it? Did they hitch? Did they ramp? Did their knees lock out early? Did they lock out totally? Was there downward movement to the bar? Uh, on and on. We don't want the nonsense. We just want, can he get it from point A to point B? Thor absolutely did. So I accept none of the criticisms of the lift whatsoever. I'm envious of him to do it because I wanted to be that guy this year. But I am ultimately very, very happy for him. Obviously, it means a huge amount, and nobody knows what it takes to do that because he is the only one who has done it. Now, deadlift is thought about more than any other lift, and I know you guys are interested in maxing out your deadlift as well, and thankfully,
Okay.
I have solved that problem for you. Down
Surely.
FBB, it's going to get you brutally strong lift, technically, with nutrition and with recovery. So go ahead, check that out down at the link in the description. Now, on September 6th at the Mutants Deadlift World Championships, Thor has been announced and is committed to coming to try to break that record at 510 kilos. To me, the eye test
That's
says that
not porn, by the way.
510
It's
is going
just
to be
my
a
YouTube
massive
channel.
ask. But
I don't know how to sign. What am I doing with this? I don't know how to sign into to two YouTube channels. So not yet anyway. I just didn't look it up. So I put it in private browsing so I could log into two.
if he does it, this would be an Eddie level accomplishment when he broke the deadlift world record by 30 plus kilos in one evening. For
Ah.
him to for Thor to come along and 6 weeks later get a new world record, surpassing what he's already done by another 5 kilos. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to say more likely than not, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But the best moments in sports are when the unlikely happens. And I'm not saying less than 10%. I'm just not saying greater than 50. Regardless, it's going to be an incredibly exciting night. Momentum's a beautiful thing with Thor. Sometimes one lift looks bad, one lift looks good. His 460, I totally wrote him off. I popped this lift in here. He did that lift about 4 weeks out, and it just did not look good. It looked like there was no way. And then he did 480 easier than he did 460. And honestly, his 505, it looked like a maximal lift. It looked like a maximal attempt. And that was a small surprise to me. I thought he would have been slightly smoother with it. But regardless, he did what he needed to do to get it
Oh,
done.
I mean,
And all he has to do is that exact same thing over.
this guy, I mean, I'm no expert, whatever, but he looked way bigger in the 501, 501 kilogram deadlift. I mean, he looked way bigger here. Are you kidding me? So, I mean, look at his stance too. Oh, actually, I think he's gonna bring it in, maybe. No, I mean, look at that. Look at how much farther apart he's standing, and I think that's just because of his size. Like he's so much bigger. Like, look at that. Doesn't he look like way bigger and fatter here? Or, bigger in general, muscle and fat. Yeah, I mean, um, it's crazy. Like, I guess maybe he was just eating too much and not being as efficient or whatever, but I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but uh, yeah, I think he probably can get bigger and I don't know what the fuck my point was there. I don't know why I even said that. I forgot. But
Again, in a handful of weeks' time. So I'm really excited to be there and witness that in person. I'm not competing there. I will be there helping to commentate, meet all the fans, and witness
okay.
greatness.
Anyway, what is it? Yeah, I'm gonna do my lift.
Oops. I haven't traced shoulders in a very long time. So we're going to try that passing out.
100 on the bar.
Uh, Male loser epidemic.
Hello again, friends. So fun, and it helps me see how different stories are framed so differently. With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things.
Oh, Lord.
The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying. Now, as you can see here is the young man in his natural habitat, in a dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you can see, also dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates, but moving on, here is another young man, we think. We're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's it.
But the stats don't bear that out now today.
And then it's like, dude. You know, the thing is, in all avenues of life, there is a truth that just pierces through everything. It's just pure truth. And people get around that and they create like a bunch of bullshit surrounding it, and then we live in it. We live in that, but there's still a string of truth through all of it. And what the fuck am I trying to say? Whatever. My brains are scrambled.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch
writing
the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. Alright, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel. See? I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that...
Yeah, like retards, you're the ones who did that. That's the problem. Like you... The thing is, I have a lot of opinions on women, and I consider myself a pretty fair person. Okay? But if you're like... If there's a large chunk of you, and there's a large chunk of men and women, not numbers. What I mean is there's a large chunk of the essence of men and the essence of women that are bad. The problem is when you tell men that they're losers and they're bad, they tend to want to like get better. This is why people like Rogan and Tate and fucking at one point Jordan Peterson, all that guy's fucking lame now. But at one time they had, very popular. They're still popular, but I mean they were, there was a big, and a lot of these guys are saying, get off your ass, you're a loser, you got to work out, you got to eat right, you got to try to make money, you got to try to find some way to get out of the circumstances that you're in. There's a reason that resonates with men. Is this thing gonna fucking double audio? Yeah, probably. There's a reason that resonates with men, because men, they do want that. They do want to be better. They do want to provide for a family. And they want to fix the part of them that's bad and lazy. But the problem is on the other side, when you have women, and they also have a giant chunk of their essence that's bad. They also have a giant chunk of their essence that's bad. Nobody wants to talk about what that is, what they're doing wrong, and how to fix it, except, there are, like, Tate, for example, he'll say stuff or whatever. There is a complete rejection of that, of what society needs, because I think women are more individualistic. They care more about themselves. Am I even going to be able to fucking play? Probably not. Women are more individualistic. They care more about themselves than they do society. Like, to them, society is just a thing that exists, and it's always there. It's always going to be there. But in reality, what it is a thing that needs to be maintained. You need to do something for the group. It can't just be all about you, And I don't necessarily think men consciously understand it, but they subconsciously understand it. This is why, for example, if you see somebody like beating up a woman on a bus or something, you're going to have a bunch of dudes come and try to stop that guy, most likely. There have been a lot of, there's obviously throughout all of history that's been the case. And there's a certain level, because, if you had the mentality of a woman in that scenario of like, no, I'm not doing that. That's dangerous to me. Instead I'm going to scream and run away. It's because that's the individual mindset. And I'm going to say this too. That's natural. Although if I was, for example, to call women cowards, that is accurate because is this thing way too fucking loud? Um, that's accurate because what am I trying to say? Fuck. Oh yeah, because that's what they're supposed to do. Women care about themselves because they are children. They are the thing that gives birth to children. So they, in the human race, are the children. They're the things that give birth to the kids. So they're in their mind, they're thinking, I have to protect my child. Like I have to run away. I can't put myself in danger because I have to run away so that I can have children, so that we can continue the species. Whereas men are just expendable, you know. But our expendability is how do I articulate it? Our expendability, it's decided on by nature, yes, but it's also our choice because men are the ones that have the power in the human race. Um, so we can choose to be individualistic. We can choose that, oh, the woman's getting beat up on the bus. Well, whatever, that's not my problem. I'm going to run away and scream, or I'm just going to run away, or I'm just not going to do anything about it. It's a choice to be expendable, you know. Uh, so where the fuck was I going with that? Oh yeah, basically that a woman's selfishness is natural, but there are things that are natural that you don't participate in because they're bad for society. Like for example, murder, right? So like if your boss pisses you off, back in the day, 40,000 years ago, if there was another man that made you angry, did something that was disrespectful, you could try to kill him just then and there, probably, most likely. You could probably just try to kill him. And we don't do that anymore because it's bad for society to just go around doing whatever you want in that regard. Just like, oh, I'm going to get a baseball bat and go to this guy's house and beat him and his children to death, which is what used to happen. Um, Instead, we go, no, we're gonna abide by the rules of society. We're gonna quell our natural instincts. We're gonna not do the thing that our natural instincts tell us to do because it's bad for society. I don't even know if I want to do a shoulder workout today, to be honest. It's getting late. I kind of want to just play Siege. But anyway, yeah, but women don't do that. Women don't quell their natural instincts and urges. In fact, they indulge in them, and they're being told to indulge in them by other women because they want to as well. All the while screeching at men for not doing their part. But it's like I kind of like to use this metaphor sometimes. It's like society and civilization is a choice by men because even by women's own admission, this is a patriarchy in the sense that men have the power. Now, it's not a patriarchy in, fully, but I'm saying women are saying that men have all the power. Okay, cool. Men have all the power. So society continues, civilization continues because of men's choice for it to continue. Um, Fuck, what was I trying to get with that? I mean, this is just true. It's not like a personal opinion. It's just true. Um, but fuck, I always lose my train of thought constantly. You know what I need?
Juicy black butt teen gets fucked by aggressive BBC thug.
Exactly. I need that. And yeah. Anyway.
Black thug burglar fucks milk police woman for freedom.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, so I think um, what I was getting at is that women do not quell their instincts for I have this other phrase about men and women. I think stupid men think they are everything, and stupid women think they deserve everything, right? And if you look at those two instincts, because most people are not very smart, and also we're all half dumb, half smart anyway. Even if you're really smart, you're still dumb. You still, there's still parts of you that's dumb, because we're not, perfect stoic monks or whatever. There are things that are you're going to be wrong about. Um, So, in those two avenues, which is let's just pretend it's true. What do we got? Let's just pretend it's true that So, if dumb men do believe they are everything and dumb women think they deserve everything, well, what happens if you put those instincts into society? What happens? Well, eventually, the men who believe that, they're going to scatter into civilization, and the world is going to tell them the correct thing, right? If the guy thinks he is everything and he walks around and he gets away with a bunch of shit in high school, he gets away with a bunch of shit in college or whatever, and now he's like 28 and he's at his job and he's still acting that way or what, um, he's going to get into, he goes out drinking one day, and all of a sudden he's going to get into a bar fight and somebody's going to like punch him in the face, right? He's going to get knocked out or hurt, or maybe almost hurt, or just have a realization where he's knocked down a peg. He's going to get humbled at some point, most likely, if you walk around thinking you're the shit in every avenue of life. Um, so, um, so what my point is that the world is going to show him where his place is, because there's a lot of guys who believe that and then they make it to the top, and they end up being like, oh, I run a hedge fund, I run like a massive hedge fund, I'm a billionaire. But those situations are few and far between. But the point is, society will dictate your place in the hierarchy as a man naturally. For women though, women live in a bubble world where their instinct is, I'm everything, right? Or I'm sorry, I deserve everything, rather. I deserve everything. And then they walk around with that attitude and nobody tells them otherwise. Nobody tells them, hey, that's a bad instinct that you need to, try not to have, because it's not true, and you're, ruining society because you have this individualistic, again, natural. It's natural to be hyper individualistic as a woman, because you're supposed to care about you and your children so we can survive. Just repeating myself. But if you go around doing that and there's no checks and balances to that instinct, there's no women getting beat up. There's no women shaming other women in mass. There's no hey, that's not proper etiquette, or hey, you shouldn't do that. It's the message is, you deserve everything, and if you don't get it, it's everybody else's fault. And who has the power? It's men. So it's all men's fault, you know. And that's the problem. It's that women have an unchecked instinct, and yeah, we need to figure out ways. And I was talking to my girlfriend the other day about it. It's like, until women are willing to listen to other women, nothing's going to change, because you have women like her, or Pearl Davis, for example, which she says some crazy things or whatever, but who cares? Like, I'm personally not offended by people's opinions. I get triggered like anybody else. I get upset about stuff like anybody else. Um, but I do believe in the everybody has a right to speak, and when you anyway, so I don't want to get too far off track, ADHD out and start spiraling on about whatever. The point is, there are women out there who do say these things. They do try to like, hey, women, stop doing that. This is bad for society. You guys got to stop behaving this way. Check your instinct, in so many words. And women just go, you're a pick me. There's every denial in the book, everything they can do to protect their ego. Like, no, you're wrong, I deserve everything, I deserve everything, I deserve everything. uh, and I would say too, this has a lot to do with how men raise their daughters. I think men just kind of like passively raise their daughters. You might not be the kind of dad that treats your daughter like a princess, but I don't think dads really teach their daughters anything. Like, they don't teach them principles and values. To like, this is the way things should be. This is, these are your options. You can't do everything. You have to. These are avenues of life. This is how you develop them. They just pick them up and kiss them on the cheek, and they're happy to watch them like play and be happy and giggle, and that kind of shit. It's like, bro, can you teach them something? Like, you just gonna do nothing? You're not gonna teach her anything, really? Okay. But I do think that's men's part to play in society when it comes to girls, is to teach them young what you want to teach them. Maybe they just don't know, but oh fuck, I hit the one button. Damn it.
We're not. Look at segment on bimbos.
Women have to choose from. The pickings are slim.
Else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile, Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs.
Yeah.
You. Nice. Thanks. I love you. I love you too.
Okay. Yep.
Is the amount of young men living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy. They're financing it. Get with the times.
There are
Pizza
a
back
lot of young
securities.
men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash, and that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this like generational pick-me shit. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with this brain-dead boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers, they are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best. They are not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume,
Meow,
are good
meow,
people.
meow,
But my God, I
meow.
truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income. A single income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't
fuck
prostitute
off.
away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand,
Black thug, burglar, fucks, milk, police, woman for freedom.
why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children? Not happening.
Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact f***ing
Oh,
opposite.
yeah.
According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they
Ugh.
just don't want to have children. Nope.
Here's the problem with women in the workplace. Okay, I mean there's a lot of them, but I would say just spiritually and for women ultimately, what's the end goal? The problem I have with women in the workplace is that, when men get a high paying job, they tend to want to start families because they go, oh, great, I can support a wife and kids. My wife can stay home and, you know, that's pretty rare nowadays because of women in the workplace. When you double the workforce, everybody gets paid less. Obviously, that's pretty obvious. It's a supply and demand thing. But um, so that's one aspect of it. But the other problem is, if a man makes enough money to be able to support a wife and kids, that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to buy a house, and he's going to try to, for the vast majority of men. Women, on the other hand, when they get a high-paying job, they don't think that at all. They don't think, oh, I get to support a man and have children. Finally, this is going to be great. I can take care of a husband, and I could. No, they look for a man who makes more money than them. So it's just like, and that's just the absolute truth of it. Now, there are obviously women who don't. Like, there's women who date men who make less than them or whatever. But there's all a fantasy going through their head the whole time. They don't just get with a guy and that's it. Like, oh, she loves him for who he is, and he could stay the same his entire life, and that's just what's gonna. No, she's thinking in her head the whole time, this guy has to make more money than me later, or he has to compensate in some way. He has to be better than me in some way at some point. And the longer that goes on where that doesn't happen, the angrier she gets, the more unsatisfied she gets. That's why they, get divorced. It causes all kinds of problems because women can't just be content, like, oh, he makes less money than me. Great. This is fine. I'll be the breadwinner and he can, watch the kids or whatever. They just don't do it. They don't do it en masse, right? That's my point. You spend all day looking at exceptions in the world. Who gives a fuck? Like, oh, there's one guy with no arms, so let's all dictate the world and base all of our lives on the guy who's got no arms because there's one exception to a rule where most of us have arms, but that doesn't matter. We're going to say this guy has no arms, and so that's the rule. Those are the rules for society. Like, it's just stupid. Most women do not dream of starting a family and supporting a family when they make money. It's like, in my opinion, that's why they're one of the many reasons women are struggling in society. This girl boss shit is bullshit. It's like, okay, so let's say you don't start a family. Let's say you don't start a family. That wasn't even part of you're just trying to be a girl boss to be a girl boss. Okay, so then what? What, are you just gonna fucking make money and buy houses and buy if you look at the same path for a man, look at what he does, right? If a man makes a bunch of money, doesn't have any interest in kids, doesn't have any interest in marriage, what does he do? He fucks a bunch of young chicks. That's his ultimate goal, is he gets to fuck a bunch of girls, right? He gets to fly around, have all these experiences or whatever, and be flashy and to basic spitting to basically show off for women so that he can have sex with more women. That's what he's doing. Like, in your mind, do you see women doing that? Like, women who are millionaires, do they just and they don't have kids and they don't want a husband and they don't want kids, do they go around just like fucking a bunch of dudes? No, they have very little interest in that. Look at all the ladies in Hollywood, all the female millionaires. How many of them are, you know, yeah, they're going to a new thing with a new young dude. Like, you can constantly see them fucking a bunch of guys. Like, it just doesn't happen in mass. Again, it's just not. So that being discarded, what's the point of it all spiritually? Like, what are you trying to get to? Like, you just want to buy handbags so that you can compete with the woman next to you and say, you know, I have this really nice thing. It's just like that only has status for women when men buy it for them. Because it's showing like, look, my man cares about me so much, he's willing to spend $10,000 on this bag. If you just buy it for yourself, it's like, who gives a fuck? It's not a status symbol for women. It's to them, their status symbols are um, how much, how many resources can they get from a man? How many men can they get to want to protect and provide for them? Meaning like, oh, my social media score. Look at all these men that are willing to protect me and provide for me if I ask them to. And then, competing with beauty and youth. And you know, so when women, let's say a single woman who's a billionaire and doesn't want kids, doesn't want a husband, like what's the pinnacle of her life that she gets to walk around with her tits out and like other women are jealous? Like, I just don't understand what you're trying to get as women. The ultimate end game.
No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance, but among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again, they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then
including myself,
it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and it's
that's exactly the opposite correct mentality. Like, what are you talking about? That's like if I got kicked out of 10 bars and I go, wait a minute. I got kicked out of this bar and that bar and this bar and that bar. There must be something wrong with these bars. Like, no, it's you, you dumb fuck. What are you talking about?
they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
Yeah.
Successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage. Are usually not ready
of
to
course.
be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video, because I am really interested to see what, like, the typical Fox News viewer thinks about this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93, and they have 0 children between both of them. You both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me. My goodness! Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes,
cool, dude.
we know you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my son stay home.
Because they're
I'm
retarded,
trying to
like,
push
it's
them
not...
out of the nest. Okay, I really gotta ask, is this an Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old?
Yeah, that shit's
My
ridiculous.
Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the f would a man leave home?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I believe, and I've believed for a couple years now that, you know, without understanding how the rest of the world does things, I just kind of came to the realization myself when I think about starting a family. Like, it's insane to me. Why are you kicking your children out at the age of 18 or even anywhere near that? In my opinion, families should stick together for life. Like, why the fuck are we all splitting off and, like, you know, everybody's across the country constantly. It's just, you hear somebody, I'm gonna go visit my sister in Florida. In Florida? That's all the way the fuck over there. Like, why is everybody so scattered? It's just insane to me. Like, people should stick the fuck together, stay together forever, pool your money. You can be rich. This whole thing that we're just, you know, what does family even mean anymore to Americans? Like, why the fuck is everybody just leaving? And then I'll go visit every once in a while. Like, bro, let's stay together, pool our money, take care of our elders, help each other out daily, daily, daily. You know how much stronger you can be as Americans? You know how much stronger we could be if our families didn't fucking split off like morons and just scatter to the winds? Like, it's just so crazy to me. And then you look at other countries. I still haven't looked at other countries, but I've heard people say, like, oh, that's how they do it in Italy, or that's how they, you know, yeah, that's how they do it in Morocco or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, yeah, why haven't we been doing that? It's just so dumb. You know, that's something I think, you know, or not think, I want to change in my life. When I have a family, I want to, you know, establish that. And I want to spread that to people. Like, people that I know that have kids. Like, don't let them leave. This is so dumb. Makes life harder for everybody.
Leave his mother's cooking for a woman who probably can't cook. Not me, though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
Yeah, so. Oh.
Bone apple teeth. Now, unfortunately, Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy. And he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Oh, get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into Jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans, because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders? That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it
would
would make a lot of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry.
Now it's manual labor.
And business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many, many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year, he told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers
fucking
with cheap
useless,
labor, it's yourself in the face. Interesting. There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just like don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement ordering DoorDash and playing video games. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too. Many of the dying industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher-paying, higher-position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about $1,000 more annually than men.
Still not going to pay for anything.
Traditional gender pay gap
Not happily anyway.
In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all. They can do anything. They can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to
Look at
war
these,
if
like,
need
fucking
be, that will protect me, protect my family.
retards nodding their head.
money.
Yes,
Basically,
exactly.
Like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money.
Yeah.
Hello class, I am Miss On Head. I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class? Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate. Income going to the 1% rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around
There it is.
We don't have to get into that today. The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options. Revolution,
have sex with a
or
man.
Escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this. I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system, and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works for them, because this is not working for them.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with four-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it. Unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second. That's better. So that was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tomi Lahren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably reading them right now as you type them. Wait, don't write that. No. You can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to me on Patreon or leave a little tip with a little tip jar down below. I'll give it a little heart. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video, a new slop video, because I know you gremlins love that shit. Bye!
That was a good video. It's a big topic to cover, man. It's just a big topic. Why is this shit so fucking small? I don't understand, brother. Why? Why does it do that? What is wrong with my just fucking display? I don't understand. I don't know why it shows up all wonky like that. So, do I have to just turn off my second monitor? Is that what it is? I mean, whatever. Just turn off my second monitor? Is that what it is? It does work. The audio does work. Cool. I have so many fucking audio issues every day. That means I'm doomed and then gone. No, it's not that. Okay, then what is it? I don't get it. Game capture? Maybe siege? Is this the problem? Oh. Yeah, okay. Aha. Is this the issue? Let's figure this out. No, it's still fucking... Okay. I don't know why my canvas is so bad. I don't know why it's not full screening the game. Why? Why isn't it full screening? Remove. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Drone has located a bomb.
I'm fucked. The stream is ruined. Nah.
10 seconds before insertion. 5 seconds before insertion.
Insertion.
Proceed to bomb's location and defuse it.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out my controls. They're still bad. So I'm using this new keyboard thing.
Reload! You must recover the diffuser.
Where am I supposed to shoot this? There was like a... Oh, it's over here. Whoops.
Come out wherever you are.
Cam deployed. The diffuser is now secured.
Over here. I'm supposed to... I saw a YouTube video on cams. This one?
Loading new mag.
Argus deployed. You know, dude, I'm just gonna join my team. Fuck it.
Swapping mags. Reloading.
Wait, what the fuck?
Cluster charge active.
Oh! I almost had it.
Friendly,
Fucking
last
hell.
operator standing. We have been eliminated.
That was bad. Man. See, I don't understand. Why am I gambit? And I can't change it because every time I fucking alt-tab, it moves the damn thing. Why? Why does there always have to be a fucking problem, dude? Do I just gotta make it like way bigger? I don't get it. No, that doesn't work at all. Cool, of course not. Why would it? Whatever, dude. I don't get it.
Your drone has found a bomb.
Okay. Bloop.
10 seconds. 5 seconds to insertion. You found a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it.
Fuck your way to its fuckcation and fuck fuse it. Whoa. Instantly dead. Cool! Fun game. Trying to figure this out now. Video hotkeys instability. Maybe.
In this video, having the game open in a full screen window or full screen borderless mode, rather than the native full screen mode.
What? No.
But is unchecked. Go to the recording settings and again make sure the
Okay. Oh, that's why? Is it a... Okay, well, the output says rescale to 1920 by 1080p. You fucker. Why are you doing that? Well, whatever. I'm just gonna end stream. Fuck it.